Right, this is only really to Joel, Katy, and Frank. Um, Hang on, okay, so let me get that on. Right, so this is only really to Joel, Katy, and Frank, but you're welcome to listen in if you want to listen in. So let's start with you, Frank. No, let's start with the least of the bunch, the lower tier. Let's go for the low hanging fruit, Joel. And you got it, Joel. All those years trying to prove he was Frank Jardim, and you did to maybe 80% certainty until I called the police, until I was given the Guntucky audio, and I heard that audio of him on Guntucky, which I couldn't get in my country. It had to be sent to me. Somebody had to record it off wherever the fuck it was being shown. Netflix, I don't know what the fuck it was, but it wasn't available in my country. So anyway, as soon as I heard that audio, I knew 100% he was Frank Jardim. Up until then, Joel had me 80%, and even Harry and Forrest, who were the original doxers, let's not forget that. Harry and Forrest doxed this motherfucker, you, Frank, in 2011. Now, you've always had a deniability, and you've always been able to, oh, it's not me, but despite the fact of all the evidence, circumstantial, pointing to it was fucking absolutely you. And you was always a cunt. We're going to get to that now. And you were fucked. And you know you were fucked. When you went in trying to stalk Harry Abner into that gun range, and you gave the vintage ordnance card to the person for them to let you know, that was it. It was over. But there's been a deniability and etc. and etc. So then, Joel, you come along and you decide you're going to take up where they left off, and you're going to proper hammer down the docks. And you did, to about 80%. And but you couldn't get it quite up there. Now, when I got the Guntucky audio, that took it to 99%. And when those police heard that audio of him growling and wishing I had cancer and threatening to eat Harry Abner's ass, I kid you not. Imagine the police hearing that, and you know I'm fucking hell. Despite that, once the police heard that audio, and that one policeman in the background said, I know Frank, I'll have a word with him on my way home. And when the policeman said to me, are you willing to come to Kentucky? And don't be ridiculous. Then this is going to be a hard one. But my colleague says he knows Frank and he will have a word with him. Now, they didn't listen to that audio and say, no, that's not Frank. They didn't say, oh, I know Frank. That doesn't sound like Frank. They said, right, we'll have a word with him. They knew all about him. Now, once I got it confirmed, it caused a flurry of people to make the same call. One of those people I no longer speak to, I laugh at you, also called the police, or so he said, and had confirmation. So did somebody who's not here. So that's 3 people who got the confirmation. Now, of course, Frank said she faked the call. It's not real and all of this bollocks. And because she's dealing with low vibrational people, because, you know, you've got to be fucking stupid to be listening to the pair of them, he's able to float that. So aren't you gutted, Joel? All that work you did, and now you creep and you're that man's moderator when he was here, and now James takes the crown. The man who you've spent, James, the last, year, riding on his coattails, being abusive in his chat, despite the fact that he got you moderated, actually trying to accuse him of all manners of murder and other skullduggery. Don't it gut you that you can't be part of the videos that now are going to be, you can see James he's outrun you. Look at that. And now you've got to pretend that you no longer think he's Frank while everybody is celebrating what I already was celebrating the minute that policeman said to me, oh, my colleague knows him. I heard him I could hear him in the background saying it. But as soon as he said, my colleague knows him, he's having a word with him, I was yabba dabba do. But there will be lots of people celebrating that James D has now done it. And he's done it better than you, Joel. And you can't even now wheel out all your videos and make it fun and nothing, because you sold yourself out, didn't you? You cunted yourself off to get even with me and Yaxley, because Yaxley caught you lying and I took Yaxley's side. You only started to hate Yaxley after that point when he told you to fuck off and he blocked you. I was on my way out anyway. Remember having to beg me, saying Katy's noticing that you're not coming in the chat. Please come in the group chat. I'd had enough of you. Hey, James. I was already wanting rid of you. Your relentlessness, the way you were now turning into Frank, all the things you didn't like about Frank, abusing people for nothing and trying to cause them problems. And there you were. Every fucking minute, James D, in the fucking gotta start, and then you provoke him, and then you get a soundbite, and then you make a video, and Katy goes on there chatting shit, and then Katy makes a video because then you got to compete with each other. Who's the biggest cunt? Who can clown James the best? He clowned you every time. The fact that you, Joel, had to do it in a chat, you could not go on a panel with him. You ought to be fucking embarrassed. It's fucking embarrassing as proper female hiding behind your monitor. It's like hiding behind your wife at home and sending her to answer the door or sending her to look for the burglar or to investigate the crashing noises or whatever. You're fucking pathetic. You're feeble. And I know that you're saving what James is doing. Like, fuck, I'm sure you are, for your catalogue. Right, over to you, Frank. Oh, Frank, you've been such a bully. Look at the things you've done. Threatening old women with being evicted at Christmas time. I think she was in her 80s. 80s, mind you. Threatening and bullying Becky Dean because Becky Dean caught Katy out in a lie. You knew she was a liar half the time. I know you watched our stuff. I know exactly how it went down for you, Frank. And it went something like this. COVID came and we all got isolated. I make friends with Joel and it was a funny old time. We didn't even see our families. It was fucking nuts, the first bit. And then they give us the bubble where we could see 3 people. Yay! You couldn't go 5 miles from your own house unless you were exercising or walking your dog. It was quite nuts. The Queen had to bury her husband and couldn't have no one sat next to her. That's how insane the time was, okay? And you take up with Katy. Now, you're flattered. She sent you this picture, which is a hybrid of her and her daughter, and I can prove this. So she sends you this hybrid image, and you fall for it. And you got her giggling and simping. It was fucking, oh man. Joel used to be recording it. We'd be sniggering. Everybody here was, it was fucking awful. She would forget, and then she'd forget herself. She'd be talking all schoolgirly and giggling. to you, and then Tiffany would pop on the panel or in chat, and she'd be like a fucking demon. Her head literally span round, green vomit, and she was cursing. And still, you were taken by this creature to the point of you held up pictures of me with sepsis. Now, why we talk about a sepsis and a cancer picture is because I had cancer, and then I caught sepsis because my immunity was low. So there was two pictures, the cancer pictures, the sepsis pictures. You'd hold up my picture of me with sepsis and cancer, because I also theoretically had cancer because I was being treated for cancer and I'd caught sepsis. You'd hold that image up of me, plus the fact that I'm 11 years older than her, next to the image of her daughter. Now, the one thing the two of you seem to have in common is a shamefaced. You've got no dignity, man, because you used to eat. Well, we'll get onto that. You bullied other women. Any woman that had an argument with her that she couldn't get the better of and bully, Nikki, darling Nikki would be one. Tiffany continually, me. Ollie, remember when you went in as Ollie's husband, and Blazing Scar is another one. There was Terry with the brain damage and the aphasia. Look at all the people. But what happened was COVID was here. Now, whereas before when you were with Monty, you played second fiddle to Monty, and Monty was the top dog and you were the fucking underling. But with Katy, suddenly you were number one. Suddenly you were Montegraph, if you like. And Katy was your Frank, and you were going to show her what a fucking badass troll you were. And between the two of you, you upped each other. What happened was you both are insane. You're both batshit crazy. But once you both got together, this madness, you fed off each other. It's like they say, Myra Hindley would never have murdered those children. And probably neither would Ian Brady, the Moors murderers, because A, he wouldn't have been able to trick the children into the car because, hi Becky, hi Patty, hi Ladybird, James I seen earlier, but they wouldn't have been able to get them in the car because in them days you warned your children, stay away from strange men, don't get in strange men's cars. You didn't tell them not to get near a strange woman. And that's how, because he was linked, hi Patty, with Myra was able to lure these children. And then their madness, well, they were fucking crackers. They were putting axes in people's heads and all kinds of just, she probably, the psychiatrists say she wouldn't have done it, became their madness. They fed each other. And that's what happened with you, Frank. You started to outright using your own voice. I do think we'd all forgotten during COVID that there was a world out there. And one day we would all go back in that world and these things would matter. I think that we all forgot that it wasn't forever and it became our new reality. And fuck me, did you jump in with both feet? You were getting involved in women's fights, screaming and shouting. And when your missus was caught, Katy, sorry, your missus, hello Munchie, when she was caught out in a lie, you would cover for her and you would provide cover for her and harass the people. What a dirty, low-life, trifling asshole. This was women fighting on the internet. You did it to Becky. You did it to Terry with the brain damage and the aphasia, and you were stupid enough to say things like, good, I hope I caused you extreme emotional damage. Oh, yeah? You still glad you said that, Frank? What was the other things? And these weren't clipped audios. This ain't 10 seconds taken out of context. This was hours and hours of it. You hoped you caused her extreme emotional damage. Now, you were too clever before you met up with Katy and before COVID. You did those things, but you went and socked up. But COVID you got loose. And plus, you've got this, what you imagine to be this slim, flawless skinned, nearly 50-year-old woman who has impossibly flawless skin, as smooth as fucking porcelain. Because you've also got that, and I doubt any woman has ever thrown themselves at you before, Frank. You had to buy your last bride. She is a mail order bride. I don't know whether she's Vietnamese or Filipino or Chinese, something like that. You had to buy it. I don't imagine that in school you had too many girls hoping that you would take them to the prom. You know, you don't matter, you buffed yourself up a little bit now and you come on here and take your shirt off and squash your balls between your legs and all of that shit, and you think you look all fucking macho. You just look like a 60-year-old man who's been going to the gym. Hello, Lisa. Hello, Dave. You just look, in all right shape. Same as me. I'm in all right shape, but I'm not quite ready to, or ever going to be, in a mini skirt and a crop top, going to Cardiff town, fucking dancing on a Saturday night. You know, keep it real. You look all right. James is driving, listening, so you know, you just look all right, but it all went to your head, this attention. Now, what happens then is, I'm sure, like the rest of us, it was relentless with Katy. Every 5 minutes, texting you, messaging you, I miss you, sweetie, love you, sweetie. Oh, fucking Jesus, Mother of Mary. Oh, God, I don't miss that. Kids screaming in the background and fucking whispering sweet nothings is fucking torture. In the end, do you know what I used to do, Frank? I used to switch off my internet so it would cut off my WhatsApp call. And then I'd say, oh, sorry, we had a power outage. You didn't have no power outage. I just couldn't take any more. It was from the first thing I woke up in the morning to the last thing at night. And if you were busy, and I'm sure you experienced this, Frank, because I know I did, I know Tiffany did, I know Forrest did, I know Joel did, because I got the messages discussing it. I know Yaxley did. I know we all did who had interaction with you. I know we all did. The bit where it's relentless and she's calling and she's messaging, but if you were busy, if you don't answer more of her 3 texts in the row, or you're gone for like 2 or 3 hours, this is what happens next. And I know you experienced it, Frank, we all fucking did. I'm thinking of leaving. I thank you for your friendship. I can see I'm busy and probably taking up too much of your time. I don't want you to feel you have to speak to me. I'll never forget what a great friend you've been. Well, what happens next? You pop up and say, as I did, what the fuck? I'm in Iceland shopping. Now, you might not have said, what the fuck? I'm in Iceland shopping. What's the matter with you? But you probably said, no, Katy, I've just been busy. I've been working. Or I've been digging my missus up from the patio because I needed her thumbprint to fucking open her phone. I don't fucking know. But I know you had it because we all had it. And it's torture. Oh, fuck me, it's torture. So you continued. You knew she was lying. Hello, Swindle Swat. You knew she was lying, and you knew that she was picking fights and she was hiding behind you. Now, I could have taken the easy road here, and when she wanted to hide behind me and wanted me to lie for her and wanted me to cover for her, I could have done that. My life would have been so much easier to not tell Joel, goodbye, I marry her, and you can fuck off. I don't want nothing to do with you, and your pity party's over. My life would have been easier. I wouldn't have been harassed. You and her wouldn't have been doing, and Joel wouldn't be doing what he's doing. But I took the right road. I took the road of, fuck this, I'd rather put my head in a meat grinder than put up with this shit. I knew. One of the last things she actually said to me before it all went off is, Tracy, he's all going to go off and he's going to attack you. I thought she actually was wrong. He's going to attack you. I don't want to be the cause of that. I'm going to sit back and let him do what he's got to do, and I'm not going to respond to him. Now, right now, he's attacking me. He's going to turn on you, but I don't want it ever to be thought that it was because of Yaxley. So, he starts off attacking fucking Yaxley, then moves on to me. Case proven. Everything. Because he was caught out lying. But I didn't want it anymore, Katy. I was going anyway. He was having to beg me into the chat saying, listen, you're making Katy nervous. She's threatening to delete her channel. Let's just get everything she's got. You were a data project to us. You only weren't a data project to me, Yaxley, and Joel. Got that? Once I sided with Yaxley, Joel, at the very end of all the argument, threw in randomly, you're trying to blame Katy and this is nothing to do with Katy. And at the time I thought, what the fuck's he doing? I now know he used that to show you what I was saying and to show you how loyal he was. And you fell for it, you mug, you sucker, you fucking idiot. So then what happened? So then Frank, I think this is how it went down. I think you fell in love with that image of Katy's daughter, and there's nothing to be ashamed of. You didn't know. It wasn't your fault. It was your fault that you held it up next to my sexist picture and made yourself look stupid. But it wasn't your fault that you were conned. She's pretty good at conning people. We've all been there. But where you're a cunt and you deserve all you're going to get is the week before Katy had her medical episode, we'll call it, because there is no evidence she's had a stroke. What there is evidence is that she was tested for a stroke. The tests were run. If I pretend now I can't put my foot on the ground and I can't bear no, and the pain is horrific, guess what they're going to do? They're going to x-ray my leg. And then I can show you and say, yeah, I've broke my leg, look. I had to have an x-ray, here's the form. Shut up, you cunt. Come on. This is fucking insulting the intelligence. But there are some fucking morons. Now, you'd expect someone like Wyoming to fall for it. But the rest of you, what the fuck? Where is your head? So, I think what happened is when you stated that you'd had enough of the drama, I think you had, and I think it was, you yourself, you looked ridiculous. So I think, I think you knew you were ridiculous. I just laughed at that freaking, whoever that is. I'm hoping it's not Katy, because I'm going to mod it so that when she's screaming about what a cunt I am, and she can say, she modded a sock of me. Where the fuck is the sock on? I can't see the sock. Top messages, all messages. There she is. There you go. So now you can cry that I even modded a sock. We'll see if it's Katy. We'll see what happens. Now, yes, you expected a fucking knob like Wyoming to fall for it, but not the rest of them. So what happens is, I think, when Frank said on that stream, the last stream he did before his stroke, he said, in future, I will be going back to my history with Bacon. I don't want no more of this drama. Katy will only be a moderator. Now, I still have the stream Katy did 24 hours later. This is the one where she said she was in the choir. that she rang the church bells and that she hoped to get back to her faith and start reattending the church every Sunday to get some God back in her life, because she had fallen and had slipped on her church attendances. Yeah, you fucking can't believe I'm even repeating it. That's how outrageous this is. And another fucking lighter that won't light. So what happens, I think, is when you did that, Frank, Katy did a very weird stream, which I've got, and I'm going to post it. I found it the other day by accident. And she was saying, yeah, Frank's, she didn't say Frank, she said agent's going to be going with Bacon because the harassment that follows me and people want to harass me and he wants to do his history. This is what she's saying in her stream. Now, Katy then disappears. We now know, because we know the date of her rehab and we know the date of the incident, let's call it. And the reason we know the date of the incident is because Katy shared her medical records. So we now know during the period she's gone quiet, she's fallen on the floor for some reason. I suspect, personally, it was to do with diabetic medicine, because when you fuck about with you're diabetic and you fuck about with it, either not taking the medication or taking too much medication, the symptoms are very similar. Numb and tingling feet, but can't feel yourself, feeling all whoop-de-woo, you know? And remember, Katy's an exaggerator. She's always been a fucking exaggerator. She's what they call a malingerer. She's always been one. That's why we've heard all about the brain tumours. She's a walking fucking miracle. Brain tumours, fucking heart transplants, 5 bouts of COVID in a 3-week period, broke 2 ribs laughing or coughing, laughing 24 hours later. You try that with fucking broken ribs. Oof, I should, Coco. Cancer and a hysterectomy and chemo. Never took fucking a day off fucking YouTube. She is fucking on it. So we know that she probably exaggerated a lot of what she was telling them because it's in her effing fucking nature. See how that? I was going to do the posh one, the effing, and I thought, nah, fuck it. I'm going to go for my unfiltered language. So yeah, I've probably exaggerated a lot of it. There's no reason to think she didn't. She always having these medical emergencies. This is why nobody believed her. So I think then what happened then, I think that Frank couldn't get hold of Katy and she was here. He was because she was relentlessly calling and messaging him, as discussed previously in this video, I think he realised there's something wrong. Now, remember, at this point, he thinks she's a 50-year-old woman with the skin of a 20-year-old woman and must be slim because lovely little shoulders, nice little neck, and he thinks this is what he's going to be calling. So then probably one of them answered her phone and said, no, she's at the hospital. Oh, fuck me up a gum tree. I think off he went. I think he felt guilty. I think he knew, and she probably sent him all kinds of very emotional messages before. Oh, I thank you for being my friend. I'm not sure how much I can go on. You get that if you're busy in Iceland. The fucker will start that histrionic shit. So you can imagine how she felt when he said, look, I don't want to stream with you anymore. You can be a moderator, but I want to do normal things with Bacon. I don't want this. This is not where I want to go. So I think what happened then is you feel guilty, but you still think it's this pretty little woman and you feel that, oh, so you go to the hospital. Now, I don't know how James Bond it was, whether you were sliding down air vents and letting off flash bombs to fucking cause disturbances so nobody sees you. I don't know how fucking Born Identity it was you getting in there. I suspect you just went up to the desk and introduced Katy Childers. But I think that, like her, you got to embellish. You got to make it like you fucking come down on an helicopter and fucking pathetic. So I think when you then see her, and I have the audio of you describing that, and she says, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, and she's crying. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. What might she be sorry about? Well, I would imagine finding the big bugger on the bed was a bit of a shock. I hope your fucking eyes nearly come out on stalks. I hope that you nearly fainted. I hope your ass was like a fucking windsock when you lighted eyes on her, and probably you couldn't get out of there had you have seen her before she seen you. But carrying a box of milk tray, that's exactly right. All because the lady loves milk tray. I hope you nearly fucking passed out. So now there's nothing you can do. She's seen you. I'm sorry. And I doubt you were wearing your rape mask. I suspect you will have taken that off. I think that then, oh lordy, and there she is. And what can you say? Now picture this, people. Get into Frank's shoes. You've been talking to this person and you know she's in love with you, and you've been kind of flattered and flirting and doing silly things and acting the goat. And you go to the hospital imagining one thing, and what you get is something that looks nothing like it, that got arms as big as your entire torso. Now, that's going to be a shock. I would have loved to have seen his face, but, none of us was there, sadly. There's no CCTV camera at the moment. But, because you deserve it, you see, Frank. You deserve it because how evil and rotten you've been. You drove Tesla around the bend, and I said, first meetings we had, and you turned on me just for this. Look, it's not a good look to harass mentally sick people. Maybe take that video down. It's cruel. He's not right. None of us answer him. Maybe cut him some slack. And you went fucking mad. You said you would cut nobody slack, that his state of mind was not your concern. No, you caused him to end up in an asylum for a time. He was so mentally disturbed he cut his own cat's fucking nose off because you played his head so fucking badly. But then, almost a decade later, you did it to another mentally disturbed person who murdered his mother as a direct result of you, and who then murdered the neighbour who tried to help the mother. Come on now. And that young man who had mental health issues, who is being deemed unfit to stand trial, is now in a mental hospital for the rest of his life because of you, Frank, because of you. And even after that, when Denise Matau lost her daughter to suicide, you harassed the fuck out of her, told her you were going to get kicked out of her house. You were going to go to her landlord. You even said that her daughter killed herself to get away from her. So what? She was saying that you stressed the daughter and that you were responsible. She was a grieving mother. Like you should have cut Tesla slack all those years ago. You should have cut the grieving mother slack. That woman called me a prostitute and said that I was a pimp, a madam. She said I was a madam and a prostitute. I don't care what she said. Do you know why? The woman is 80. She can see what the fuck she likes. And she's lost a child. She's lost a fucking child. You would be, if she wants to let off steam, and if that will make her for half hour, an hour, however long, if that will give her peace of mind, I'm happy. I've never responded to her. I've never abused her. She made multiple videos calling me those things. Never responded to her. If doing that to me gives her a little bit of peace, I'm all for it, because I don't know how I would be if one of my kids committed suicide. I think it's got to be about the worst thing, because you would, but you told her it was because of her, you fucking worthless cunt. That's just one person. Another woman you were harassing, she was an Uber driver, and because she wouldn't back down to you, you tried to scare her by saying she didn't know who she was picking up in her taxis and she should be careful. So she showed you that she had a weapon under the car seat. I can't remember what the weapon was. You reported her to Uber and lost her job, you worthless cunt. Another one was a man, you were arguing with him, and he was proper cursing you, and his son walked into the room, and the son said, oh, and he said, you can't be in here. And then he says, right, I can't do this anymore, I have to cut off my son. The son keeps talking as he's closing the stream. You then made multiple videos, the same video, and you loaded it on multiple channels. I think I counted about 25 channels with that video, inviting people to use the cut audio of him. You showed him raging and all of that, and then the kid coming in the room and talking. You clipped it before he says, I can't talk anymore, my son's here. You clip it before you hear him say, get out, you can't be in here. You made it look like he was raging in front of a young child. You invited multiple people to report him. You're a fucking scumbag. You deserve Katy. That's why God gave you Katy. The moment of COVID, and then you're stuck there, and you look at you. You've held that bit of audio, fucking chipped audio, like fucking 10 seconds. There's hours of you doing this shit, and you deserve it. Back to my story. I think that then you alighted your eyes on the critter on the bed, and I think the critter on the bed alighted on you. And I think when you said, it doesn't matter, it's okay, I don't mind, don't worry, shh, now. I can see it now, Frank. But Katy took that to mean, it doesn't matter, you're a fat bloater, we're still game on. Katy read what she wanted into it, and that was it. Now you're really a hero. And she spoke of going mountain climbing with you to lose the weight, and me and Frank are going to go to the gym every day, and she posted up the date at Cheddar's, and it was all marvellous and wonderful. But I can imagine it was going on and on and on. She told everyone, yeah, that you were my guy. She said how you were amorous when you were drunk, but you were only nice when you were drunk. But then when you got drunk, you were amorous. She giggled and said what fun you had. She claims it's AI. I'd like to see AI do that fucking quality of fucking voice thing. She's everyone. But this is the worst thing that you did, Frank. Having had first-hand experience of her lying, because you couldn't deny that the person that you held up next to my sepsis picture was not the barnacle that you found in the fucking hospital. There's no cutting that one. You still continue to lie for her. You still continue to harass and bully other women that were falling foul with her. Even if the women were in the wrong, it's not a manly thing to do, you fucking weirdo. Oh, fuck me, that was the worst toke on a spliff I've ever had in my life. I need another minute. Right, I'm back in the game of a nature. You'll have to bear with me. I might be a bit breathless, like I'm trying to... Oh, fuck me, here we go. Right, this time. Oh, fuck me. It wasn't just a tickle. This was a hardcore punch in the throat. You know when you change the brand of your weed after you've been smoking the same weed for a while? There's an acclimatation. You need to acclimatize. I hadn't quite acclimatized and I took a bit of a gulp and oh, fuck me. It was like I was being strangled. Fucking terrifying. So, anyway, it's still kind of touch and go. If I puffed again, or I'd be in kind of spasms and my face would go puce and pink and purple and red. And when it happens to anyone I'm around smoking with, I laugh my head off. It's not so funny when it's you. But anyway, so I think what happened then is, Frank, you couldn't get away. She had your docs, although we've all known you, Frank, for a long time. She could absolutely prove it. And you probably know she recorded you at the beginning and probably in the middle and the end. She recorded Phil and every other fucker. I don't know why you'd be any different. You know, her history goes right back to 2007 of you, of her people saying, don't trust her with fuck all. She records everyone. 2007, that's 4 years before any of us know who she is. The fucking posts are still there on the forum. If you know the forum and you know the keywords, you can go and search that shit. Hello, Tiffany. Hello. I heard I missed a bit of live. I'm now going to throw the link because I would like to hear about James D's stream because I feel it might be relevant to me. So I dropped you the link if you want to hop up and tag, because apparently you were on there and it was something I shouldn't have missed, and I'm gutted that I did fucking miss it. Anyone else who got anything to say, can fucking nip up here. So I think that's what happened, Frank, and I think you've been trying to extricate yourself. I think that Katy did mean to lose all the weight and all of that, but your lack of interest in her romantically, I think that in the end, the easiest thing to do was to come out as gay. And then you weren't rejecting her as a big buxom woman. You were rejecting her because she had the wrong plotting. It wasn't personal, but now and again, you probably still speak to her. You probably still listen to her. I suspect you roll your eyes and you don't even zone out. I fucking zone, Tiffany. I zone out all the time when people are speaking to me. hello, hello, Tiffany. Have you heard anything I've been wittering on about here?
Yes, bits and pieces. I kind of been in and out.
Right. So, can you tell me what I missed on James D's?
Uh,
James D
one.
was apparently a banger.
Oh, yeah. It was. I was pretty stoned, but
Oh.
I missed. I came on for a minute and then I missed some of it.
Anything
Then I
of
missed the second half.
was there any good shit come out? Any interesting tidbits that come out?
No, not really. I gave Katie. I explained my theory on Agent 19's plan to shorten Katie's time on this earth through gummy bears and all
It
that
was a
stuff. But
strange thing to do, wasn't it?
I think so.
And he still was streaming with her every night.
Well,
If you remember, there was a period where they was back to streaming night after night, hours. That's not how you help somebody with not only a food addiction, but an addiction
hi
to the
Becky.
internet, which is what got her here in the first place.
Oh, did you see it? The stream last night too, Becky? Yeah, I tore yeah, well, Tracy, what got to me about that was, how, when she was in the hospital, he still had her going live. She's in the hospital having a situation, and he's still going live with her. That's when it solidified it for me. I'm like, "Oh, dude, this guy's trying to hurt."
Well,
You
my
don't have.
theory was this: the first time he saw her, I'm going to come and get them posts now. My theory is the first time he saw her, that it was on that bed. I believe up until then he thought the Emily picture was her.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, he never saw her before that. That's why she kept apologizing.
100%.
Yeah. No, no, no. She had him convinced that that picture was her.
Yeah.
There's no way look, the way
He
he
held it up
used,
to us and to you. He even
yeah,
said she was better looking than you. And when
yeah,
she was seeing him way slimmer, he was egging it on, for fucking Jesus love's sake.
yeah. And I think the whole time that they spoke prior to that situation,
Used filters and these
yeah,
gimmicks on TikTok.
yeah,
Listen, but that's not really Frank's bad. What is Frank's bad is he knew a lot of the time she was lying. He knew what she was doing to you, Tiffany. Let's take the Becky one. Becky and Katy are having an argument, and he's telling Becky, "You've got 20 seconds to get on your or World War III. I'm gonna dox you as a pedo." What the fuck? He had no business involved in those fights.
no.
They're women's fights. Can you imagine
Well,
Jeff coming in here now and starting telling me off for something I said to you? I tell him to fuck off. I suspect he'd tell you to fuck off if you asked him to. Fucking hell. You just don't do that.
no, he was weird. His aggressiveness towards women too.
Horrible. Horrible.
Well, I mean, it's like he definitely has a chip on his shoulder about the ladies. You know what I mean? Like it's really weird. His whole demeanor has always been really weird, but with Katie, it got even stranger. He knew he got in over his head, and he was stuck with her.
Yeah.
You know, and
And I
all of
can
his
feel
stuff,
sorry for that. But I can't feel sorry
not for
when you
him.
then go to, let's look at the darling Nikki thing. Look how he tried to go there and bully Nikki over Katy. Because
Mm-hmm.
Nikki didn't want Katy on her stream. That's the long and short of it
Yeah.
about that.
He goes in and he attacks women he doesn't even know. He just takes her at face value. I mean, for such an intellectual, you think he'd have more discernment than that, you
But you
know?
know that there is no face value, because he knows himself she's a liar, because he got caught on, he got caught out with the image,
Mhm. Mhm.
didn't he?
He certainly did. Sorry, I need to stop reading chat. I'm getting pissed off and
Yeah,
distracted.
that's what's happened to me. I've read chat and now I've gone to links and there's nothing on there. I'm going to share a minute. So
Yeah, yeah.
I was looking for Katy, not if I was looking for Katy. I'm not going to share Felix and um,
She was in chat. She's now going by a more a body accurate screen name. The picture's still fake though. She's Katy XXXL. I saw get
oh,
some.
you're joking. Are you serious? Can someone
I
link
don't
Katy's channel, please? Can
I
you
don't
drop
think
it?
it's her because I think that's a sock
Oh,
account because her screen
oh,
name's Katie Von Helton.
oh, Jesus. No, that would. Oh. She is capable of trolling herself, mind. She fucking trolled herself pretending to be her fucking dad in the thing.
Yeah, on Christmas Eve.
Mm. And then removed it when she got pulled. But the thing is this, Tiffany, I was doing like my take to Frank directly. I say he asked for all of it because even when in the end he knew she was lying, and Frank often would comment on my community posts and on my streams, which of course he would delete them after. And he would argue with me about things I was saying. So he was aware that she was lying. For example, she would say that people in my chat were calling her son a retard and threatening to strangle him. I invited people to show me who's got the recording. Where is it?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. Jenny would back her up. At that time, Jane was kind of friends. So she had people who were saying, yeah, that's right. But it wasn't right. It was lies. That it never happened. I'm not stupid enough to have people chatting like that in my stream.
Right.
Even if I pretended that I was disgusted and kicked them just for decent, for optics, I wouldn't have it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and
he's
Katy,
buggered all the way off now. I mean, he's
he was always buggered off, Katy, Tiffany, and you owe me an apology because he was fucking frank. I told you, and I did call those police, and the police did confirm him.
I think there's no denying it now. I was severely wrong about my assumption that he was Lewis.
But you were meant to be severely wrong because a old member of Triforce Troll Legion, I don't have to say their name, but they drove past them on an interstate. I don't know what an interstate is, okay? But
it's like a highway. It's like the Autobahn in Germany.
Right, our motorway, right.
Yeah.
Drove past them on the motorway, and the two of them were in the car. Frank was driving and Lewis was in the passenger seat.
Oh,
so
I remember this.
There was a period where Lewis was indeed in Elizabethtown, Kentucky, and thereabouts. He was in the car with Frank.
Mm-hmm.
So you were meant to. That was to muddy the waters.
Well, there was another video that Agent uploaded. He was driving in his, or maybe he was a passenger. He was in a green Ford, like Explorer or something like that, driving down that same highway. And yeah, he's a whole ass mess. I just find it hilarious how
he's better off now coming out saying sorry to all the people he's fucked with, playing off for some madness, and then take the run from Katy. She got nothing on. Well, do you reckon?
Tracy,
question for you, Tiffany, before you say, do you think she's ever supported him? Do you think she got shit on him?
Yeah. Okay. 100%.
Right, so scrub what I said.
Because look at he must be, the fact that he doesn't just come out as who he is, he must really be terrified of the things he's done to people over the years. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so bad. His fear of retaliation is so high that he will just stick with
of course,
Katy.
You've got to remember, he still gets invited to speak at shows, yes, and he still gets invited to TV appearances. He's got a bit of a public persona. Of course he's scared. He was threatening to SEO people as paedophiles, and now his docs are out. No denying it. They were always out. Now they're just even an idiot can't. I don't know. So I'd like to address Katy now. Katy, you toxic fat bastard. You've wrecked everything you've been near. You are a hideous. I actually believe you're evil. When people say about evil, we use it a little bit too often, maybe. When I'm talking evil, and I've never thought this before, I actually think you're demonic. I don't say words like that easy because it's so out there, but I do believe you are demonic. The forums, 2007, people were discussing, don't share anything with Katy. Be careful of Katy. If you want to keep a secret, don't go with Katy. There was another thread I read. These threads are still there. You've seen them, haven't you, Tiffany?
Yeah, I've seen them.
There's one thread that said, if my pictures get out, you can look out. And you, Katy, respond. And you said, what, with your red panties on? What are you going to do? Huff and bluff and blow my house down? So you were absolutely fapping with people, unless the man just fapped with you and you recorded him. You then blackmailed another one and went and told his fucking wife. You sent the stuff to his wife. Now, I don't know whether his wife left him when you broke up a family, but I know that happened. It's in them boards. People talk about you can't trust her. She shit stirs between the groups. She's evil. She spreadsheets you. She just tells fucking lies. You come along, the Smileys had been here since 2008, 9. They was a top group. Nobody could infiltrate them. You had the main group, which was Phil, who went on to become your husband, Annie, Mike, Molly, and Ten, which we now know was Molly's husband. That group all knew each other in real life. That group had all gone to Vegas together. They were safe. None of them were ever going to. The group was airtight. There were other members, but they were sub-members, people like George Bush Pimps, Capizzi. They kind of floated round there, but they were, and some of them had smiley avatars. Then Chang was brought into the main piece after they'd harassed the fuck out of him, but they realised what a brilliant hacker he was, because he was good on his computers. They brought him in. Then Phil started fapping with you online, and that's where you met him. You met him trolling Von Helton. He introduced you into the main group. That group that had been here 4 years and were making thousands of dollars a month, blackmailing big channels, stalking the fuck out of them and harassing the fucking the sponsors, and then going to the channel and saying, if you give us $1,000, we'll get rid of your trolls. But they were the trolls. They was minting it in. They was making about 5K a month. And that was back then. Until Nut and Fancy said, fuck off. You've had 2,000. You ain't getting no more.
Hey,
That was,
Tracy. Tracy,
yeah.
I don't want to interrupt, but I'll be right back. My mom's giving me a call. I'll be back in like 10. Okay, bye-bye.
Yeah. So within 2 or 3 months of you becoming Phil's girlfriend, because Phil is with you now, fapping and whatever else, he introduces you into the group and you're allowed in because he vouches for you. So now you're in the middle. The first recording that comes out is you record Gam. Now she's a lower member, it don't matter. You record Natasha shit-talking Gam. You then give Gam the recording of Natasha shit-stirring. There starts the little bit of fighting. You were going in one ear saying, listen, you don't say I said, but Gam says she hates you. And then you will go into Natasha saying, listen, Gam says she don't trust you. Don't say I said. And these people would keep the secret, not knowing she's done the same story to the both, but there would be resentment, which would eventually bubble over. She recorded Chang. That's why the group broke up. But not only did she record Chang, it then came out she'd recorded the fucking whole lot of them because she boasted to Braden Peter Landon, I have hundreds of hours of recording them. I got Chang, Phil. She was naming, because Phil wasn't her boyfriend at that point. She only had her eyes on him. Then comes out the audio. Braden loses his mind and shares his private Skype. And there you are telling him how you are recording all the members of the Smileys. And then the Chang fucking audio hits. That group had no record of people recording each other. The group was airtight till you got in it, Katy. Then there was the Triforce Troll Legion. And the same with them. All kinds of leaks, all kinds of shit stirring. OGs of YouTube. Thank God I've never been in these groups. I don't go in groups with silly names. Same thing. everywhere you've been. Then let's look at the people stupid enough to make friends with you. Well, me, for one, during a period where we were friends and there was no problem, after all you had done, we buried the hatchet, and I've got cancer, which I haven't told you, because why would I? You'd be the last person I tell. I didn't tell anyone I had cancer. I told one person here, who told another, and that was that. At that time, we were friends, and I accidentally sent a picture of myself laying on the hospital floor waiting for a bed. I had sepsis. And I had been talking to you and my daughter on WhatsApp, and my daughter said, I hope you've got a bed now, Mum. I hope you're not still sat there. And I said, here's my bed. And I sent a picture of myself, and I look fucking deathly. At a period we were friends, Katy, you saved that image and you sat on it because you had to physically save it, and you sat on it. And then when I parted with you the first time, I said, I don't want nothing to do with you. You're just a liar. Everything you say in the background, it doesn't go along with what you say out front. I don't like two-faced people. What you say about Tiffany, and then you're all smiles to her face. I can't be doing two-faced people. So what did you do? You gave Frank my sepsis picture. And Frank, night after night, and then when you catfished him, when you sent that picture, held it up and said, who looks best, Katy or Tracy? You know, come on, this is like schoolgirl shit. But that's what was happening. That's exactly how it went down. I am glad that your life is a misery, Katy. You say that I've threatened to kill you and that I've wished you dead. Never. I know how unhappy you are, because I know happy people don't do what you're doing. Only people down and unhappy try to pull others down. People who are high and up and buzzing, they try to pull them up or they leave them alone. You try to pull people down. That's all you've ever done. Anybody who's too busy, you relentlessly bombard with fucking calls and texts and messages. Anyone interacting with you will know I'm telling the truth about now and think, oh yes, this sounds familiar. The minute you're busy, the minute you miss 3 messages that you don't answer, oh, I don't feel that, thank you for being my friend, and I don't want you to feel you have to speak to me, and so I won't message you again. Person then will say, oh no, I was busy, don't be silly, and she's off again. But you know, if you don't answer that call, that I'm sorry and thank you for being my friend. You've all been such good friends to me. You're such a good friend. If you don't answer that, how she wants you to answer it, how she feels entitled for you to answer it, God fucking help you. God help you. And in the end, once you argue back with her, it'll involve stalking her kids, harassing her kids, trying to sell her kids, and onwards. So that was it. That's what I came to say. You all got what you deserved. Katy, I stayed and argued with you for however many years it's been, but it wasn't my sole hobby. I didn't then go around monitoring YouTube to see who was. You see, this is the difference. People can make comments about me and say things. I don't feel the need to go and have a fight with them because life's too short, but you would. People would only have to make a comment about you and you'd make it your business to go and find their details. Let's take the latest docs you tried to do. Swindle Squad. Now, you doxed that person. What did that person do that made you feel you should go looking into them? And because we all have the right to anonymity, that's why YouTube allows us to use usernames. We're not obliged to say who we are. We're not obliged to show our images, but you doxed who you think that person is. What did they do? Because they remember? Because they know what you are? Because they know you're a fucking liar and they say so? You fucking fight with anyone. Anyone. any fucking one. I got that thing with Granny Fanny. And to me, I've proved my point. You're a coward until you fucking front me, until you confront me like you say, until he proves, and not your gnarly bit of audio that you suddenly happen to come across after all these years. Until he can do that, to me, I've proved a point. What more have I got to do? But you got what you deserved. And here's the thing, Katy. You said, "Oh, I lost all this weight." No, you didn't. I am having the worst time of my life trying to lose 7 pounds from over Christmas and winter. I have pedalled like fuck. I tried one big, I thought, right, let's go. I do about maybe 2 different rides the same day and they'll hit 12 miles. But I thought, okay, let's do just one. I'm eating fucking salad like there's no tomorrow. I'm trying to behave. I'm trying to be good, and I am being good. And I lost a stinking fucking worthless pound, which I suspect if I get back on my scales now, the fucker's back on there. Because I lost the pound and then I went on 3 days later and fuck me, there it was again. I just am at my wit's end, and there's no way no way. You can, and if you could walk more, why did you have to make a fucking fake video pretending that Frank recorded it of you walking? That tells me you're still all but bedridden, not bedridden, but sofa ridden. Because who has to fake a walking video? It's not that you actually said, "Oh, when Frank filmed it." Fuck off, Agent 19. It was AI, you dopey cunt. And then I did one of me crip walking. I can't crip walk. I wish I could. Instead of walking to the shop, I'd crip walk up there. It'd be my party piece. I'd always be at it. Fuck off, you can't get on a mobility scooter. Listen, there are some bits of it you can pity. She baby trapped Phil with a baby who is challenging, let's say. And Phil got fed up with her because she wouldn't wash up no dishes and it. And then he had to beg her for a divorce. All in 2 years, this all happened, from meeting to being pregnant to getting married in that order to divorce, all took 2 years, and it was him who divorced her. She claims he was beating her up. Well, hang on, why is he divorcing you, you maniac? He had to actually sue her for divorce because she wouldn't fucking sign the papers. I don't know. She saddled herself with a child later in life, so did I. My youngest was 12 and I went and had another with my new husband, my new young husband. Me and Katy had a very similar thing going on. I had 3 children. She had 3 children the same age. Then I met my younger husband. She met hers. We both had a baby. We both got married. Well, I got married first, and then 2 years later, I had a baby. My marriage lasted 16 years. Katy, and she trapped herself and this child, and I think she feels resentful. And I think when she says things like, they were wanting to put my kid on the dark web, and they threatened my kid with this, and they're threatening to cut my kid, which is all bullshit, mate. I think that's her projecting, like she projected her fat onto me and her weight. I think she's projecting her resentment towards her own children. And I think it leaks out as they said this, because nobody would think up those things. Nobody would just think those things. It's not memory. It's not she's remembering because it didn't happen. She created that scenario in her brain. Her character was such she was able to construct that story. Now, in my wildest dreams of all the fights I've had, I've never thought about saying those things. I've never thought about accusing my opponent of putting my children on Craigslist. It just wouldn't come to my head. Or on bestiality porn. It just would not come to my head. But it came to her head, which is indicative of her mindset. Now, I believe that it's her resentment towards the children is the only thing I can come up with, because it's a constant theme with her. My poor disabled little boy and all this shit. But anyway, I'm out of here. I said what I wanted to say. Katy, you got all you deserved. And this is the thing. Until you accept and truly repent, not like to God, but, to yourself and maybe to the people you've been fucking with, until you, or even just to yourself, until you accept that this is your karma that you earned, that these are the consequences of your actions and your choices. Nobody made you. I chose to go and climb mountains. Do you think I like climbing them? This halfway up, I'm thinking, fuck this. What the fuck? Whose idea was this? We start bickering, me and my daughters. Whose idea was this? But when we get to the top, all breathless and red-faced, and me with my hair like a fucking scarecrow, we're glad of it. And then we go and have lunch and tell each other how great it was and look at our photos. It's worth it. I ride my bike and sometimes I'm tired because I've gone so far, but I got to get home. But when I get home, I look at my tracker and I think, fuck. And then I go on the scales and I've lost £1, which kind of deflates me. But you know where I'm going with this. You chose this. You chose all of this. And even now you're repeating the same goddamn thing. This is exactly what you were doing with Frank, except for you'll never have another Frank. You wanted to turn me into Frank, which is why I left from Joel's and that, because you wanted me to be your new trolling partner. Listen here, bitch. You came to me publicly with your aphasia. You jumped a link that I didn't even want to fucking see. I hide my hair to you. And then you came on there, and I'm going to let that audio out. And I was very kind to you. And I threatened people and said, anybody who uses this and makes fun of her, I'm going to strike you for copyright. And nobody ever did use it. And I stuck up for you. I argued with Glenn and other people over you because you weren't in a fit state to argue because of your aphasia and your poorly ways. And what did you do? Well, you come in my group, you shit-stirred and lied about Yaxley. You shit-stirred and lied. The same story. Same fucking story. Same as the Smileys. Same as Triforce Troll Legion. Same as the OGs of Gank YouTube. It's even happened to an extent over on Kramer. She was trying to whip up a storm against Nikki the first time round because Nikki said, I don't want you talking like that in my chat. Stop it, please. So what she do? She made posts. And people went over, like Wyoming and other people, and said, oh, yes, I agree. I will never speak to Nikki again. And then, fuck me, they all went back there. Katy changed her name and they all went back in. What the fuck? Sometimes I feel like I've been in a TARDIS, that I've stepped into a TARDIS and I've been bounced into some other dimension where nothing is logical and nothing is real. She's already started that shit. Bet your life. No, I don't hold that with that Jess woman. I'm a very strong animal fucking activist, if you like. I used to go saboteuring hunts and things when I could run around fields and shit. But I still take part in little antics with them people, just not in the field. I'm still very active. I got no love for that fucker, and I'd be one of the people outside her court if she was around here going to court for that. We'd be people shouting out there. But, remember, there was messages being shared. There was secrets being told, and And I'm at home, and it all came out, and Wyoming felt all special, going on Granny Fanny's to tell the story of her arrest. And you know, the person who called in that concerned was Katy. It don't matter how much she says no, it wasn't. It's right up Katy Street. This is what happens around Katy. I finally feel that I'm ready to go back to doing normal shit, because it's done. You're done, Frank. Absolutely done. You're done, Katy. It's only time. I don't even think you'll reach my age. I think you'd be very fucking lucky. So you can call me an old cunt all you like. Age is a privilege. Not all of us will get there. And not all of us will be able to climb mountains when they're 61 that are used by the SAS for their training ground. Not all of us will be able to ride 18 miles. Not all of us will travel all over the world. But hey, I'm jealous of you, of course. Of course, I'd say that. So I'm quite content. I think that, there's always a beginning, a middle, and an end. And this is probably my end. It might be the beginning of my end. It might be the middle of my end, or it might be my end. But Joel, you will get yours. Like Frank, sometimes it can take a very long time, Joel. Sometimes it can be days, weeks, months, years. Sometimes it can be over a decade. Look at Frank. You'll get yours, Joel. With or without me, you will. I would like to touch base with Felix, James D, because we found a lot of stuff, me and Glenn, that is now being scrubbed from the internet. And I think if we give you all the clues we have that he is Joel Bavacqua, like with Frank, we've got it to 95% sure that he's Joel. 95. I'm 100% sure he's Joel. But proof-wise, some of it's circumstantial. 95%. I'm 99.9%. But we got him at 95%. I wondered if James could take it to that 100%. I wondered if James is able to fill in the little pieces that we didn't get. I'm pretty sure he looks to be doing a better job than any of us. Look how many times you matched up the teeth and the moles on his hands and his voice and the clothes and his favourite guns. And James took it from you. James took it from you. And now James runs through the line with the rightful trophy over his head. King of the webs. That's it. He's done it. It don't matter how much footwork you did. You only took up after what Harry and Forrest did. Nobody could get it to that 100%, but James did. And you got to pretend that you don't believe he's Frank and he's not Frank, and you got to play that silly ass game with that big fat cunt. I know you're bored shitless talking to it. I know the conversations. I know it's the same old shit. They said I fucked a banana. I got no pay. Oh, fucking hell, poor you, Joel. Do you remember the fun we used to have, Joel? How we both laugh and our silly conversations and our banter. I fucking bet you do. I still have that with you, actually, funny enough. I had it with Glenn too. Glenn's even funnier than you because Glenn's got a voice. There we go. You were just a textual one. Glenn actually had a voice and was as funny. I actually think he was funnier. But anyway, now there we go. So I'm out. I don't know what I'm going to do because it's pissing down with rain, and I had a bit of a to-do the other day, which I don't mind if people want to laugh at my downfall, but I had an incident of ending up in the lake covered in algae. Do you know what algae is? And tadpoles and all kinds of stringy green stuff. It made me want to puke. I had said to my daughter a week or so before when we filmed the baby bird, remember that pond in my short with the baby bird, and I showed the mother. I ended up in there. Oh God, Jesus, it was everywhere. I had said to my daughter the day we recorded the mother bird feeding the baby, it's like a fucking swamp. I said, imagine falling in there, how rotten it would be. Well, I fucking ends up in there. I had this green stuff all over me. The fucking baby birds and the mother birds scattered. I flattened all the, like, the bulrushes and the reeds. They were flattened, man. Caused a hell of a fucking splash. Screamed my head off. The only person around to help me, this oldish woman, which I was gutted as I trying to get up. I can't get the fuck out. She comes steaming over, and as I saw her, I thought, oh, fuck me. She was like Denise Matau. I thought, oh, Jesus, Lord. So anyway, I eventually struggle out. I got on my bike. I had to ride home. It was awful. I was nearly puking. I got in the shower, and this stuff coming off me, it was fucking hideous. I was pulling moss out of my arse cheeks and everything. It was fucking, because of course, where I'd been on the bike then on the saddle, this stuff was getting internal. It was fucking worst thing ever. So there we are. There's a laugh at my expense. It was fucking vile. I will not be feeding baby birds or going around poking around with wildlife. I'm cured. I never want to see anything like it again. It made me heave. I couldn't even eat that day thinking about all the stuff that was on me. And so that's a cheer up for me. Whereas I was feeling a little down, and now it's pissing down with rain and everything's miserable, James Dean made my day. More so because I know Joel now got to secretly have that stuff, got all ideas for videos that he'd make which would be funny, clowning Frank, but he can't because he's Katy's friend. Enjoy. And you have a shelf life, Joel. You'll, just like Frank, it's coming. It ain't if, it's when. So, see you later, guys.